You know, I got a theory about boobies.
Really?
Yeah. See, there are as many women as there are men on this planet.
True that, true that.
And every woman has 2 boobs, for the most part. So, therefore, there's twice as many boobs as there are men. We're outnumbered, and it's overwhelming. We're powerless. We have to accept it.
I like your take on boobies.
Hello and welcome to Two Guys and a Few Good Men. I am TJ Washuk.
And this is Movie Lowdown for the week of February 11th, 2019.
So this week we had quite a bit of news, so let's just jump right into it. First up, we got news from Jason Blum, the mastermind behind the Blumhouse Productions. Jason Blum recently did an interview with Moviefone. During the interview with Moviefone, he was asked if there was plans for any sequels. Well, we had talked about it, but right now we're not shooting any Halloween movies right now because we don't have a deal rights to the sequels. But I certainly hope to make 10 more, but I'll start with 1. So, Jason Blum wants to make 10 more Halloween movies. I think what made Halloween fail in the past is they kept on making them. So maybe stick with 2, 3 at the most. But 10, that's pretty excessive. I guess you could continue on, the character because anyone can play the role. But 10 Halloween movies. The last part of the franchise before they rebooted it, basically turned Mike Myers into a zombie creature, so that seems like what he wants to do with this one. Or I guess we're gonna have a zombie Mike Myers coming up, so stay tuned for that. Next up in the news, we have Kung Fu Hustle 2. So apparently Stephen Chow wanted to make it back in 2005, but shelved it. Now he's bringing it back once he finishes his The Mermaid movie, which is supposed to be coming out here soon. Steven said in an interview that this will not be a sequel, but it will be a spiritual successor set in present day. And he said that he probably won't be the main star in the movie, but will make a cameo. Now, I'm not sure if any of y'all have seen Kung Fu Hustle, but I consider it a cult classic for sure. Quite a few of my friends have seen it and love it. It's basically a comedy movie mixed with martial arts. First one was set in the 1930s, and the main character wants to join the Axe Gang. If you haven't seen it, I think it's still on Netflix. Last time I checked, it was on there. One of the funniest Chinese movies I've seen. Definitely recommend it. Next up, we have talks about some updates to the DCEU. So apparently there will no longer be a standalone Joker film with Jared Leto, and there won't be a team-up with Harlequin and Joker, the Joker and Harley Quinn that was in Suicide Squad. Apparently they are no longer Jared Leto is no longer part of the DCU, is what I'm guessing. It didn't really say in the articles I read, but he is in the new Spider-Man Morbius, but I don't foresee him returning to the DCEU. James Gunn is going to be rebooting the Suicide Squad like we've been talking about, and reports are saying that Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, will not be in the new Suicide Squad 2, which is okay. That's totally fine. You don't have to have Harley Quinn in it. It would be nice to have her, but it sounds like it's going to be a complete reboot of the Suicide Squad. It's not going to be anything like the one from before, or maybe reference it. My guess it's going to be a standalone film, unless if they get some stars that want to make sequels, but hopefully it's just a standalone. Now, what I would like to see in the Suicide Squad, who I'd like to see in the Suicide Squad would be, I would say, Bane. Bane would be a dope choice. Like last week we were trying to figure out the character's name that's kind of like Mr. Freeze. Killer Frost is his name, and he's been in the Suicide Squad many times, so I can definitely see those two being in it. Another character that would be great would be Cheetah, the female antagonist. She's dressed as a cheetah, and usually I think she is against one of the characters in in Young Justice. Can't think about the top of my head, but she was the counterpart to one of the main characters. Moving on from there, we have some news that Seth Rogen and The Lonely Island will be making a spoof on the Fyre Festival. I'm sure many of you have either seen the documentaries or the Inner Historian video from last year. Inner Historian is a YouTube guy that broke news about the Fyre Festival a year ago at least, maybe more, and now there's documentaries of it on Netflix and Hulu. But Seth Rogen and the Lonely Island crew want to make their own spin-off, or spoof rather, and apparently they've been talking about it for over a year now, but there was some articles saying that it's still in the works, so hopefully we'll be seeing that soon, because I mean, how long could the fire from this news last, you know? The news cycle changes so often, so we might, roll over this hype train on this horrible event that took place. Next up, we have some updates to some movies. Who joined that movie?
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance.
So, I got some updates to Dune. And, we were saying like it's a huge cast ready. Well, they're adding 2 more characters, 2 more actors that are really big. So this is going to be a huge movie, I think. They're adding Josh Brolin as one of the main characters and Jason Momoa. Not only is this movie being directed by one of the best directors right now, but also has some top tier cast members, and I could definitely see this doing really well in theaters and hopefully critically as well. Also, we have news that Thomas Middleditch is joining Zombieland 2, the sequel, so we'll see him as a character. And that is going to be it for this week's movie news. Let's move into movie trailers.
We got movie trailers.
Alright, so first up we have the trailer for Tolkien, which is a biopic for J.R.R. Tolkien, the creator of the Lord of the Rings novels and beloved author. So this takes place during Tolkien's formative years as a young man. We will see him finding friendship and artistic inspiration for his novels in this movie, as well as it looks like a love interest. Lily Collins will be playing Edith Bratt. Nicholas Hoult will be playing J.R.R. Tolkien. Nicholas Hoult, he was Nux in Mad Max. He's also known for Hank or Beast in X-Men, as well as R in Warm Bodies. So I'm sure you guys have seen him. And then there will be some other actors that are not very well known will be playing the other characters. Now this looks like a great movie. Looks like they have some throwbacks or callbacks to the Lord of the Rings movies. It'll be nice to see what they do with this movie. This movie is being directed by Dom Kurowski, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and I think he's a Finnish director. He's done a lot of foreign films, not too many notable ones that I'm aware of that have moved state-wise for us to see. And this is being written by David Gleason and Stephen Beresford. I'm not aware of either of these writers. Hopefully it's going to be good. I'm a big J.R.R. Tolkien fan. I love The Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorites, favorite franchises to watch. I have it on extended Blu-ray edition, and this movie is rated PG-13 and is coming out May 10th of this year, 2019. Up next is this movie called Yesterday, which kind of looks like a Mandela Effect comedy kind of a movie. Looks really goofy. looks really goofy. Yeah. This movie is starring Lily James, Anna de Armas, Kate McKinnon, James Corden, Ed Sheridan, and the star is Joel Fry. Joel Fry is playing a character in this movie that is the only person that knows of the Beatles. So no one else in the world knows the Beatles or their songs, so he's reproducing them, remaking them, and claiming them as his own, and becomes a huge superstar. And my guess is it's gonna crash and burn, but then it's gonna come back up and go back to normal, like a predictable movie. This looks all right. Right now it is in post-production and is slated to come out on June 28th, 2019. All right, last up for movie trailers. Speaking of Seth Rogen, this movie is called Long Shot, and it stars Charlize Theron as Charlotte Field, Seth Rogen as Fred Flarsky, has Alexander Skarsgård in it, Andy Serkis is in it, Randall Park, and O'Shea Jackson Jr., who's been in quite a bit of movies lately. He's really becoming a rising actor, or a rising star rather. The plot, according to IMDb, states, when Fred Flarsky reunites with his first crush, the most influential woman in the world, Charlotte Field, he charms her. As she prepares to make her run for presidency, Charlotte hires Fred as her speechwriter and sparks fly. So the title of this movie is kind of a play on Seth Rogen's character becoming a love interest for Charlize Theron's character. It's a long shot. And then also Charlize Theron becoming the president of the United States. My guess is this is going to be a good movie because it's being written by Liz Hannah, who worked on The Post and Reign Over Me. And then also the director of this movie is Jonathan Levine, and he worked on 50-50, the movie Snatch with Amy Schumer, and Warm Bodies. So there's quite a bit of strong actors and people behind this movie. It's a comedy, and looks like it would be just a little bit political, but not too much. I don't even know if it even says if she's Republican or Democrat or anything like that. But I predict this movie to do well, and it looks hilarious. What do you guys think?
Dude, I am tripping right now. I feel like I've totally lived through this day already.
Deja vu?
Yes.
The day reset when you died, right?
Yeah.
I might be able to help with that.
Okay, and this week's movie review is Happy Death Day to You. Garrett and I went to go see this movie on Valentine's Day. Nice little date. But yeah, this is a sequel to the original Happy Death Day, where the girl Tree or Flower Gibbons repeats the day over and over again until she finds out who is killing her. So it's kind of like a Groundhog's Day type of movie. But in the sequel, Happy Death Day to You, it kind of changes things up a bit. It makes it a sci-fi type of a movie, Back to the Future-esque, I guess you would say. So in this beginning of this movie, we have Ryan Fan and waking up in his car and then going throughout his day, and then he dies. He gets stabbed by a person in the baby mask and then wakes up in his car again and slowly realizes that he repeated the day and goes to Tree and is like telling him that he's repeated his day, and she freaks out and gets pissed off because it's happened again and she thought she was done with it. So it turns out that Ryan and his classmates, or his friends, classmates, have a science project where they have a time machine, or they don't know if it's a time machine. I think it was something else, but it ends up being a time machine. And the killer ends up being Ryan's self from a different dimension, So there's different dimensions in this movie now. The multi-dimension theory, where you fold a piece of paper in 6 and poke a hole through it, and then you open it up and see that's all the same. So it deals with some sci-fi aspects, like I was saying. Has the same actors from the original. I think it was filmed like right after the first one. And this is a goofy movie. I cannot state that enough. So don't go in it thinking it's going to be serious, because, come on, I mean, someone dying and coming back to life to repeat the day over and over. It's definitely goofy. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. I would say just as much as the original one. Now it seems like there might be a third, because at the end credits they had a scene that popped up where another character experiences this Groundhog Day effect, and I don't know. Apparently, the director stated he wanted this to be a trilogy all along, so we'll see. But yeah, this movie, like I said, it's really goofy. Had some like laughs to yourself, chuckles, some laugh out loud moments, but it was definitely, like I said, can't state that enough. It's a goofy movie. But that is going to do it for this week's movie lowdown. This week's question: how many sequels is enough? I was saying earlier that Jason Blum wants to do 10 Halloween movies. 10. What's the max amount you should do for a movie? Is 10 not excessive? Is 20 good? I mean, I don't know. For me, I would not want to see 10 Halloween movies, because it just dilutes the story, I feel. But anyways, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, we love you, and good night.
This has been a Two Guys production.